Hands rest on your lap. And start to connect to your breath. Gently breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Just taking a few moments to notice what's going on with your breath and your body today. And as we move through today's practice, right, it's about kind of hanging out in poses, being gentle with our bodies, yet at the same time, if there's the space to grow a stretch, we take it. But being mindful of trying to avoid efforting, making the practice harder than it needs to be, or pushing yourself on a physical level. Making sure that as you sit here in these initial moments that you root your seat down, press your outer thighs down and allow your spine to lengthen. Allow the shoulders to drop, the neck to elongate, and the chin to remain parallel to the mat. Relaxing your jaws and just gently breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. So we're going to keep our slow, steady breath, no ujjayi today, just letting the breath fully expand on each in-breath and fully empty or allow your body to contract on each out-breath. And then just slowly taking an exhalation, allowing the chin to descend toward the chest. So be mindful, especially if you just woke up or you've already worked out and it's kind of early in the morning. You want to be careful of the neck, making sure to avoid creating too much tension in the neck. So let the chin drop and let the chest lift and just feel your way through this initial space. What does the stretch feel like right now? Relax your shoulders. Root both sits bones down. We're going to keep the chin dropping. We're going to inhale, trace the chin along the right collarbone and let the chin descend toward the right shoulder. You'll feel a pretty intense stretch along the left side of the neck. And staying here for a little bit, we will deepen that stretch in a moment. I want you to focus on relaxing the left side of your body, yet rooting the left seat down. Relax your jaws. Now to deepen the stretch a little bit, turn your right ear toward the right shoulder. So here you'll get more of the muscles along the neck and shoulder involved. Keep rooting your left seat. Keep lifting the chest. And if you want to make the stretch a little deeper, go ahead and walk your left hand off your lap and onto the mat. And then maybe take the right hand, the fingertips just above the left ear, and create a deeper stretch here. So you're in control of how deeply you go here. Want to be mindful that you feel a dull, deep ache, no sharp shooting pains. Any sharp shooting pains are indicators of a bit of nerve involvement. We want to pull back out of that stretch. So you're going to hang out here for a little bit. Keep sitting up tall. So I just noticed that my lower back compressed a little bit. So meaning I tilted my tailbone forward and I rounded my low back. So make sure your tailbone's drawing down into the block. And we're going to slowly start to deconstruct the pose. So try to stay in each step as we go. Keep your head dropped to the right. Just release your right arm down onto your lap. Keeping the head as is, just let the left hand go onto the lap. And on your next exhalation, trace the chin back along the right collarbone. Let the chin drop and nod your head no a couple times, trying to release tension here. Letting the chin drop, let's go ahead. Inhale, trace the chin along the left collarbone, bringing the chin toward the left shoulder. So we're going to check in with the right side, make sure the right shoulder feels relaxed. It may try to hike up. You want to keep bringing it down, root your right seat. And maybe notice which side feels tighter. So for me, there's certainly a difference in the stretch on the right side versus the left side. Now exhale, let the left ear descend toward the left shoulder. So now there's more involvement in the muscles. Keep rooting the right seat. Try to even yourselves out. Your body's going to try to tip a little bit to the left. Let's go ahead and walk the right hand off the lap and let your fingertips touch the ground there. Relax the shoulder. If that feels okay, take your left fingertips just above the right ear and you can go ahead and deepen your stretch. Just putting a little bit of weight, and I just start light and then maybe go a little deeper, feeling how my neck and the rest of my body responds. Keep sitting up tall. So sitting can be a challenge. With the block, you can give yourself a little more time, a little more space to sit longer. So now we'll start to deconstruct, keeping the head as is. Exhaling the left hand onto the lap. Just feel what's going on. Right hand goes onto the lap. Next exhalation, chin down toward the chest and nod your head no a couple times. That'll release any residual tension in the neck. Keeping your chin dropped, keeping the chest lifted. Now let's bring the head back to neutral. Inhale. As you exhale, relax and draw your shoulders back and down. And then as you inhale, take your chin up toward the ceiling. Feel the front of the neck stretch. Try to avoid letting the skull drop back. So you want to keep a little bit of engagement, still allowing the front of the neck to stretch without letting the neck hyperextend or the front of the neck hyperextend. Relax your jaws. One more breath. Good, now we're going to exhale, bring the head back to center. Now let's inhale, slowly bring the arms up overhead, spiral your triceps inward, connect the palms and pinkies and stay there. So we're going to interlace the fingers, turn the palms up, and you can gently open your eyes. So we're going to keep the spine tall, shoulders drop. I'd like you to bend your right elbow, taking your right hand over to the left as the left elbow bends as well. Try to hug the right bicep toward the right ear. Feel that stretch. As you hug the right bicep toward the right ear, pull the right tricep a little bit toward the right. So the left arm's pulling the right arm to the right, to the left, and the right tricep is gently pulling to the right. Keep lifting your chest, another breath or two here. Inhale, exhale, feeling the tricep stretch, feeling the shoulder stretch. Now on the next in breath, we're going to bring the arms back up. Then you're going to exhale, bend that left elbow, bending the right elbow. So I just try to track my inner elbow in line with the front of my right shoulder. Again, get that push-pull. So the right arm's going to draw that left arm to the right, but the left tricep is going to draw to the left. Sit up tall, rooting your seat. Try to relax your face. So when we get into some of the shoulder or tricep muscles, it can get a little achy. Maybe your inner thighs respond by tightening up. So you want to try to relax that too. Now we're going to inhale, return the arms up to center. Feel the warmth there. And then exhale, hands in prayer at center. So let's go ahead again. Inhale, arms rise, palms touch, lengthen your spine. Now we're going to take a side bend. Exhale, take your right arm down and go ahead and go up and over into your side bend. So draw your right shoulder toward the left, open your chest up toward the ceiling, root your left seat and breathe. Feel a big stretch here along the left side of your body. Reaching your left fingertips toward the right, making the conscious, aware choice to drop that left shoulder down. Another breath here. Then we're going to inhale, use the left oblique muscles to sit up. Exhale, release the left arm down. Inhale, the right arm rises. Now exhale, up and over to your left. Keep rooting the right seat. Open that left shoulder toward the right side. Open your chest. So on the block, you have a little more space to press down. And for those of us who are a little more flexible, may not feel as intense of a stretch, but in a moment, we'll have the opportunity to remove the blocks. Another breath. Good, now we're gonna inhale, sit on up. Exhale, release the arms. Let your fingertips drop for a moment. One more time. Inhale, arms rise, palms touch. As we exhale, we're gonna sweep the arms behind us, turn the palms back, interlace the fingers, draw the knuckles back, and really lengthen your spine. Let your arms go parallel to the mat. Sit up tall, a little waggy dog tail. Draw your shoulders back. So now look into your chest. And then remember, you have a block underneath you, so it's gonna change how much length you have there. Try to drop your knuckles down. So this is gonna challenge you to open up the chest a little more deeply. Draw your shoulders back, find your breath. You can always look straight ahead, down into your chest or up toward the ceiling, whatever works for your neck. So I'm keeping my chin dropping toward my chest. My neck feels a little tight today. So if your neck feels nice and free, go ahead and let your head drop. One more breath cycle, keep rooting the seat. Challenge is to press the outer thighs down. Now as you inhale, sit on up. And as you exhale, release the arms. All right, so we're gonna switch the cross of the legs, option to stay on the block or come off the block. So we're gonna do opposite leg in front or on top, rooting the seat down. Sit up tall. Let's go ahead, exhale, rotate the upper body to the right, left arm to the outside of the right thigh, right arm is behind you. You're gonna inhale, lift and lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, add a twist. If you're feeling pretty limber already, that right arm behind you can snake around to the left inner thigh. Drop your shoulders, inhale, grow tall. Exhale, add a little more rotation. Another couple of breaths here. Keep dropping the shoulders, kind of hugging the inner elbows in. Think of elongating the spine. Good, now we're gonna go ahead, inhale, return the spine to center. Let's exhale, rotate to the left, right arm to the outside of the left thigh. Left arm is behind you. You're gonna inhale, sit up tall. Think of lengthening the spine. And exhale, add a twist. If it's available to you, snake that left arm around behind you and catch the right hip or inner thigh. Inhaling, growing tall, dropping the shoulders. Exhale, rotating. Relax your jaws. Continue to drop the shoulders and lift the chest. Got another breath cycle here. Good, now we're gonna exhale, return the spine to center. So what I'd like us to do is a little more traction twist. So let's get started with the sole of the left foot lining up either with the left sits bone or if you need a little more space, just outside of the left hip. We're gonna bring the right heel toward or to the groin and you're gonna drop your left seat down. Take that left tricep, press it into the left inner thigh, right arm goes behind you and you're gonna rotate. So I want you to really root the left seat. Think of your chest puffing out toward the right front corner of your mat, or maybe even toward the left front corner of your mat and rotate. You should feel your left obliques engage a bit here. The right outer thigh is gonna try to lift. If you can see my leg, it's lifting. I'm gonna press it down. And I'm gonna keep lengthening my spine as I try to twist. So I like this twist because there's more tractioning. We can work the obliques a little bit. You can also feel a little bit of our power here. Now you can stay here or turn your head to look toward your left inner arch. You can stay there looking down, or you're gonna go ahead, catch your left inner arch and try to straighten either your left leg out to knee bent or your left leg out to knee straight. And see if you can rotate a little deeper to the right. You're gonna keep dropping the left seat, flexing your left foot, connect to your breath. Looks good, guys. Keep putting weight into that left sits bone. Lift your chest, another breath or two here. Good, now we're gonna keep that left leg up. Let's exhale, bring the chest to center, reach your right arm up to parallel with the earth, drop the left shoulder. Just find a moment or two here in a breath. Keep trying to elongate the spine without the assistance of the fingers. Can you capture that length that you cultivated? Now, we're gonna exhale, bring that left heel into the groin, sit up tall. And we're going to set up that right leg. So quote, in alignment could be heel in line with the sits bone, or if like me on this side, you need more space, open it to the outside of the hip. So we're going to take the right inner thigh, right tricep to the right inner thigh. You're going to exhale, rotate to your left, lift your chest. You're going to think of the center of the chest going to that back right corner, or we're going to go ahead and rotate to that back left corner. So inhale, lift and lengthen your spine. Keep dropping your right seat. Keep opening up through the chest. Feel the right obliques work here. Drop your shoulders. Good. In a moment or two, we'll have the option to deepen, but I want you to make sure that left outer thigh is dropping down. So you don't want to really be recruiting those inner thigh muscles right now. All right, so we stay in the twist, but we're going to look down toward that right inner arch. You can keep your right hand as is, or reach down, catch the inner arch. And sit up tall and either bring your right leg to knee bent, like you were doing happy baby, drawing the knee toward the underarm, or straighten your leg out. Keep rooting the right seat, lift your chest. We're in the twist for a little bit longer. Good, keep trying to find your balance in the length to your spine. Feel the hamstring stretch. Now from here, we'll inhale, return to center, float the left arm up, and notice what happens. So for me, it's very different on the right side than the left side. This side of my body is a little tighter. Keep dropping the shoulders, lifting the chest. Try to capture that elongation of the spine. Capture the belly and your obliques. Let the hamstring release. Another breath. Good. Now we're going to carefully cross the ankles, rooting your seat. Adjust your seat. Inhale, grow tall, look up, lengthen the spine, draw the tailbone back, and exhale, hinge from your hips and fold. Let your spine grow long. Let the shoulders draw back. Slow and steady breath. So approximately 20 minutes in, we're still seated, still in the beginning stages of the practice. If you're frustrated because you're used to flowing or going faster, exhale. Take the time here before we go into what can be a busy or stressful day. Let yourself settle in. Feel the sits bones root, feel the spine lengthen, and be present in your pose. Your pose could look like just barely hinging forward, or your pose can look like forehead all the way to the ground. It doesn't matter. Be present in what's going on in your body. About 3 to 4 more breath cycles. Be present in what's going on in your mind. Good. Now we're going to slowly inhale, lift the head up. Keep your seat rooted, walk your fingertips in maybe a quarter of the way towards you, and then plant your palms. Start to push the earth away, draw the shoulders back and lift your chest. You should feel a reaction from the lower back, like a little bit of engagement. Exhale, walk your upper body around to the right and take a side bend. So we're not trying to twist. We're trying to keep the shoulders nice and squared. Think of when we do our side bends in child's pose, really root the right seat and feel the side bend. So twisting adds that rotation here. I want you to feel the side bend, drawing your left rib cage back or out to the left. Keep rooting your left seat, draw your shoulders back. Evenly push both hands into the mat as you lift your chest. You can look over that right shoulder if you'd like to. I'm keeping my head on straight today. Just try both, see which one makes more sense for you. One more breath. Then we're going to inhale, return to center. Draw the shoulders back, root your right seat. Let's exhale, walk around to the left. So we're going to draw the shoulders back, lift the chest, really root the right seat, connect to your breath. Again, you can look over that left shoulder if you'd like, or look straight ahead. Just, kind of highlighting the difference one side from the other. On this side, my body wants to look over the left shoulder. So paying attention to the little nuances, the differences one side from the other. Keep letting that right rib cage fan out, really stretch. Drop the shoulders, lift the chest, notice what's going on. Good, now we're slowly gonna inhale, return to center. Good. As you exhale, come up on fingertips and tilt your tailbone between your thighs, round your thoracic spine, feel your mid-back stretch. So I'm going to add a little bit of movement here side to side while keeping my mid-back rounded, trying to get into the lower back, into some of the tension that can build up there. Good. Another breath or two here, just moving around. All right, now we're going to return to center and then inhale, stack the spine to come back to seated. Draw the shoulders back. Now I'm going to turn to face away from you for a moment. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead, sitting up tall, draw the shoulders back and reach the arms behind you, trying to get opposite hand to either opposite forearm or opposite elbow. Drop the shoulders, sit up tall, hug your inner elbows in, lengthen your spine. Now we're going to exhale, rotate to your left, looking over the left shoulder, and gently use that right hand to nudge the left arm to the right. So I'm trying to get different angles of the shoulders. So we have tension in the body. Shoulders are usually a pretty key place you want to release. Start to feel that action of that left arm really going to the right. Good. Now we're going to stay here for another moment. Then we'll slowly inhale, return the spine to center. Start to prep that left arm to draw the right arm to the left as you exhale, rotate to the right. Keep rooting the seat. Notice what goes on one side versus the other. Drop your right shoulder. You're going to feel this in the top of the shoulder, a bit into the tricep. So we're prepping for a bind. Good. Now you're going to inhale, return to center. So if you have a strap and you know you need one, you can grab it. If you don't have a strap, you can always kind of grab onto your shirt when we get there. So the left arm's going to hang down. We're going to sit up tall. We're going to inhale, reach the right arm up. Turn the palm to face to the left. Then exhale, take your right hand between the shoulder blades, palm faces your back. Open your right elbow out. Now we're going to exhale, start to snake the left arm up the back. See where you get. If you can just barely get to touching, you can hold on to the shirt and kind of rip it apart. If you can touch, go ahead and bind. Otherwise, right, you take the strap in the right hand, bending your elbow, and the left hand reaches for the strap. Sit up tall. And I feel very bad because my mom always told me not to give anybody your back, so I apologize. Draw your right elbow out to the right. Think of the top right corner. And left elbow down. You're going to inhale, sit up, grow tall. Now we're going to add in. You're going to exhale very carefully, root your seat, start to hinge forward. So you'll notice the left tricep and left shoulder will stop you from going all the way down. Keep lengthening your spine, draw your shoulders back, root your seat. Keep drawing the elbows apart. Connect to your breath. You may feel this in the right tricep. So for me today, it's a little more in the left side. Some of you will feel it right side a little more intensely. Keep breathing. Keep lifting the chest, hinging from your hips. One more breath. We're going to keep the bind. We're going to inhale, sit up tall, pause a moment with the bind. Keep the left arm as is. You're going to go ahead, release the bind. Inhale, the right arm rises. Exhale, the right arm down. Keeping your left arm close to your body, you're just going to exhale, slide it down so we don't create any undue pressure or strain in that left shoulder. You can shake your arm out a little bit. All right, we're going to do the other side. Inhale, your left arm rises. Remember, we all have one side that's a little tighter. Exhale, bend the left elbow, hand between the shoulder blades. Then we're going to go ahead, snake that right arm up the back. And again, you can use a strap. You can use your shirt. Or if you can get the bind, you get the bind. You draw your left elbow up toward the left top corner, right elbow down. Sit up tall, lengthen your spine. Find your breath, drop your shoulders, and lift your chest. Breathe. Taking note of where you feel the stretch. So maybe it's different this side from the other. So for me, it certainly is left triceps feeling it more than the right shoulder. Now we're going to lengthen the spine, root the seat, exhale, hinge forward. Remember your tricep on the right side there is going to stop you from going all the way down. Breathe, keep lengthening the spine, drawing those shoulders down, separating those elbows apart. Keep rooting your seat, connect to your breath. One more breath. Now we're going to carefully inhale, sit up. We still have our bind. We're going to go ahead, exhale, separate the bind. Inhale, the left arm rises. Exhale, release the left arm down. The right arm stays close to the body to safely slide down and avoid any muscle strain. Now let's go ahead and come up to all fours. So we're going to go ahead and place the wrists directly underneath the shoulders and the knees directly underneath your hips. And push away from gravity and lengthen your spine. Take a moment here, draw your shoulders back, connect to your breath, tuck your toes. Let's exhale, tilt the tailbone between the thighs, hollow out your belly, round your thoracic spine, rock back slightly in an angry cat and look inward. Now inhale, point your toes, lengthen your tailbone, unfurl your spine, shoulders back, chest forward, cow. Excuse me again, exhale, tuck your toes, hollow out your belly, round your thoracic spine, rock back slightly in an angry cat, looking inward. And then inhale, point your toes, lengthen your tailbone, unfurl your spine, shoulders back, chest forward, cow. We'll do one more time like this. Exhale, tuck your toes, hollow out your belly, round your thoracic spine, rock back slightly in an angry cat, look inward. And then inhale, point your toes, lengthen your tailbone, unfurl your spine, shoulders back, chest forward, cow. Now exhale, return to neutral spine with your toes tucked. Keep the left knee underneath your left hip. You're going to exhale, open up that right leg to the right. Line your right ankle up with your right hip point, or even think of your right inner heel lining up with your left knee. Draw your shoulders back, push away from gravity. Let's go ahead, take a side bend to your left. Exhale, walking your hands around to your left. Tuck that left seat underneath you. Both hands remain shoulder width apart for a moment. Press into both hands. Now we're going to step into that right foot strongly. Inhale, reach your right arm up, lengthening both sides of the waist. Tuck the left seat underneath you, breathe. You can go ahead and reach the right arm up and over to the left to take a big side bend. Feel the length along the right side of your body. Keep knitting your rib cage in. Draw your shoulders down your spine. Really connect to your breath. Breathe. Another couple of breaths. Good, now inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, bring the right arm back down on the inside of that left hand. Inhale, return your spine to center, wrists underneath the shoulders. Square your hips out. So you're still keeping the right leg where it is, but I want you to think of turning your right hip a little bit toward the left. So you'll feel your outer left hip activate a little bit. Push away from gravity, even weight in both hands. Now we're going to inhale, sweep the right leg straight back. Keep it parallel to the earth for a moment. So right, not the most gentle pose, but also not the most unrealistic pose to do in a gentle class. Keep lengthening your spine. Try to lift your buttocks up a little bit, but keep your neutral spine. Pull the abdominals in. Good. Keeping your right foot flexed. We're going to exhale, bring the ball of the right foot down and reach your right heel back. Like you're trying to drive your right heel into the wall behind you. In my hands, I'm spreading my fingers out like I was in down dog, or as if I were in down dog, really drawing the shoulders back. And I'm kind of pushing the mat away from me. And I'm shoving the mat a little forward with my hands as I take my right heel back. Keep squaring your right hip forward. Another breath or two here. So like this stretch for the hamstring calf. And it preps it for deeper stretch. Now we're going to carefully inhale, lift the right leg up, transfer the weight forward. Exhale, sweep the right foot over to the left side of the mat. Place the ball of the foot down onto the earth on the left side. Keep tucking your left toes. Look over your left shoulder. You can keep both hands down, or if you want to add a balance challenge, inhale, reach your left arm up, look toward the left wrist, draw your shoulders back, and hug those inner thighs together. Find your breath. Keep squeezing those inner thighs together, draw your shoulders back, inhale, exhale. One more breath. Good, now we're gonna exhale the left hand down, square the chest. Inhale, the right leg rises behind you. Even weight in both sides of the body. Exhale, bring that right knee down. Adjust your body as you need to. Rock a little bit left and right, lengthen your spine. So we're gonna do the same sequence other side, draw the shoulders back. As you're ready, inhale, left leg rises, square your hips. Keep reaching through the left heel, keep squaring your hips out, even weight in both sides of the body. Reach through that left heel, pull the abdominals and rib cage in, lengthen your neck. Good, now we're gonna go ahead, exhale, drive that left foot down. I skipped the side, I'll get it. Drive that left heel down and back. Push away from gravity, draw the shoulders back and lengthen. Feel the stretch in the left hamstring. So again, noticing left side, right side. What's happening? What feels different? So today my body's saying your left side's quite a bit tighter than your right today. Try to go with whatever your body's feeding you or giving you as feedback. Another breath or two. Good. Now we're going to inhale, transfer that weight forward as we lift the left leg up. We're going to exhale, sweep the left leg over to the left. You can think of lining your left ankle up with your hip or the inner heel up with your right inner knee. Draw your seat back, pull your belly in, and then exhale, walk your upper body around to the right. Keeping your hands about shoulder width apart, tucking the right seat underneath you. You can keep both hands down, or if you want to side stretch, go ahead and reach your left arm up. Really step into your left foot. Think of knitting your left rib cage in, and then maybe reaching the left arm up and over. Looking up toward the ceiling, keep stepping the left foot down, draw the shoulders down the spine. So some of these poses are going to be a little more active than others, and noting that they might not be as gentle as other poses, but they certainly open up the body without overtaxing our nervous system. Now we're going to inhale, reach the left arm up. Exhale, bring your left hand down. Inhale, return the spine to center. Draw the shoulders back. In breath, taking your left leg straight back and up. Then exhale, sweeping the ball of the left foot over to the right, bringing the foot down, look over your right shoulder. So you can stay here with both hands down, or you can go ahead, inhale, open the right arm up, rotating your left rib cage to the right. Looking up toward the ceiling, drawing your shoulders back, squeezing those inner thighs together. Connect to your breath. Keep trying to free the chest up. So I know the left shoulder, right, left side of your chest is working, but try to open up space in the chest. Another breath. Good, now exhale, return the right arm down. Inhale, the left leg rises, pull your abdominals in. Exhale, bring your left knee down. Point your toes and shift your weight back into your heels and let yourselves come into a child's pose. Take a moment. So I know, especially for those of us who are used to being in down dog for a long time or plank, being on all fours, not necessarily super stressful, but it can start to tire out the hands and the shoulders. Just taking a couple of breaths here. Bringing your seat toward or to the heels. You can do inner thighs connected or big toes touch, knees apart in child's pose. Let your rib cage rest on the thighs, forehead toward or to the earth, and let your lower back drop for a moment. Inhaling and exhaling, releasing tension. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, inhale, take the gaze forward, draw the shoulders back. Plant your palms. Next in breath, come up to all fours. Now we're going to go ahead and go into some of the hamstring stretches, etc. If you have a block and you need it, you can have your block with you. And keep your left knee underneath your left hip, come up onto your right fingertips and step your right foot forward. From here, we're going to go ahead, line the right knee up with the shoulder. Toes are going to be in line with your fingers. For a moment, lift the left knee up and take a stretch. So we're not going to come into high lunges. We're not going to do any of those, bigger poses. We're going to stay low to the ground. Keep drawing your right hip back and your left hip forward. Stay low and lengthen your spine. So I'm really on purpose trying to draw my right seat back. Think of my right sits bone here really shooting toward the wall behind me. thinking of my right shin going forward, my shoulders drawing back, and I'm starting to let my left hip start to wander forward a little bit. So if I take my right arm, bring it underneath my hamstring, my left hip point is kind of going over to the right. So you can even try to make that connection. Just hug the arm, see if you can touch your left hip point, start to rotate a little bit. You'll feel a stretch into that hamstring already. You'll also feel a stretch into the hip flexor. Now, keeping that connection, can you slide your left leg back a little bit and then just descend the left quad down? Let your right hand for a moment go to the outside of the right foot. If you're on the quad, you're going to point your left toes. If you're on the knee, you're going to tuck for the safety of your knee. Excuse me. Draw your shoulders back. So this is a little bit of an awkward pose. Stay for a moment, just trying to draw the right hip back, left hip forward. Feel what's going on in the hamstring. Keep hugging that right knee in. So that's really what we're doing here is the arm's going to feel awkward, but you're going to notice that you can keep that right knee in. We're going to try to keep that right knee hugging in action and take the right arm to the inside of the right thigh. So notice that I'm drawing my right hip back, my left hip forward, but the entire hip complex is going forward. I think of trying to line my torso up with the inside of my thigh. So it's just that solid diagonal line. So the hands are to the earth. We're going to draw the right hip back and the left hip forward, be here for a little bit. So I'm feeling a bit of a hamstring pull on my right side. I'm going to try to alleviate that by lifting my toes up. So usually if you're having a hamstring issue, it might be your knee as well. So I'm thinking in terms of, let me protect my knee because my hamstring's talking to me. So there might be something going on there. If you need to, step your right foot out a little bit to the right, keep hugging the right inner thigh in. Now we're going to try exhaling either your elbows, forearms to a block or your elbows, forearms to the earth. Going to hang out here and try to put even weight into both sides of the body. Soften the chest, lengthen the spine, pull your belly button in. So we're about 40 minutes into the practice. So we're going to do another 40 minutes or so, maybe, or 45 minutes or so of actual poses, etc. Going to hang out Shavasana for a little bit. Breathe here. Draw the shoulders back, pull the abdominals in, keep trying to square your hips. Keep trying to hug that right inner knee toward that right tricep. Connect to your breath, keep sending your pelvis forward. You can rock your hips a little left, right. So my body's kind of going, I think I want to move around a little bit. Just feel what feels good for you. We're about a minute into this pose. I'd like to keep us another minute or so. We'll stay in a basic variation of this pose for a little bit longer. Good. Keep breathing. So if you're still moving, that's fine. If you want to come to stillness, that's fine. Start to prep yourself for a little bit of a side bend. So we're going to keep hugging that right inner thigh in toward the right tricep. Got about another 10 to 12 seconds in this pose. Starting to prep yourself, drawing your shoulders back. You may need to come up onto your palms. We're going to take a side bend. On the next exhalation to the left, you're just going to walk your upper body to the left. You're going to look over your left shoulder. While you're here, check in with your left ankle. Make sure it's nice and straight. Keep drawing the right hip back, fanning your right rib cage out to the right. Connect to your breath. Maybe you shimmy that left leg back a little bit more, getting a little deeper in the shape. Draw the shoulders back, really connect to your breath. Again, you can move around a little bit. So I like this stretch for the right external hip, right rib cage. So about another 30 seconds or so in this shape. Slow, deep, steady breaths. About another 10 seconds. Keep drawing the shoulders back, really stretch out that right rib cage. Good, now we're going to inhale, return the spine back to center. Place your hands on the earth. Inhale, wrists underneath the shoulders. Tuck your left toes. Now we're going to exhale, shift those hips carefully back so the hips are over the left knee. Frame your right leg. I have to walk my right leg back in a little bit to line my second toe up with my right hip point. So do what you have to do here. At first, and you can always use blocks underneath your hands, go up to the highest point you can find here. Flex your right foot, draw the chest toward the wall in front of you. Draw the right hip back. Breathe. Now we're going to exhale, hinge and fold. Maybe you walk your arms forward, but draw your shoulders back, connect to your breath. Try to keep even weight in both sides. What I find challenging about this pose is the balance, really. Yes, we're in the belly of the hamstring. Yes, we're trying to stay connected, but it's the pelvic stability there and that ability to hinge and find our balance that I find the most challenging. If you want to go deeper, hand to the ball of the right foot, right hand to the ball of the right foot, draw the toes closer toward you. And I'm using my left hand here to leverage. So maybe you're on fingertips and maybe you're on the palm of that left hand and pushing the mat away. And at the same time that you push the left hand away, you draw the right hip back, and that's really going to turn the stretch on into that hamstring. Relax your jaws, another couple of breaths. Good. Now we're going to take that right wrist underneath the right shoulder. You can come up on fingertips or on the palms, left wrist underneath left shoulder, lengthen. And then from here, exhale, sweep that right knee in. Go back to hip width parallel, wrists underneath the shoulders, rock your hips left and right. Just release tension. So right, as we stretch out all of these muscles, some will tighten up in response until we get balanced out or stabilize the stretch on the other side. All right, as you're ready, right wrist underneath right shoulder, maybe you come up onto left fingertips, tuck the right toes and step your left foot forward. Now from here, we're gonna start with that low, deep lunge. Draw the left hip back, maybe come up on fingertips and lift your right knee up. Try to focus on really lengthening through the spine as well as through the legs. So try to capture as much length as you can. So again, this time the left seat draws back, the sits bone. Your right shin draws forward. Your shoulders draw back. You're framing your left leg. You're pulling your belly in and you're squaring your hips. Rip the mat in two with your legs. Good. Now I'm going to start to think about my right hip point going to the left. So I'm just going to wind my left arm underneath my hamstring, touch my right hip point and start to kind of turn it a little bit to the left. It's not much, just enough to start to feel like I'm getting a little bit of a reaction from the right hip flexor and a little bit into that left hamstring. So I'm going to keep a little bit of that rotation and start to shimmy my right leg back. And then from here, bring the right quadricep down. If you're on the quad, tuck. If you're on the quad, point. If you're on the knee, tuck. So you're going to point those right toes. Now we're going to try to square out, right? So we have that left arm to the outside of that left foot. We're trying to keep that left knee in line with that left shoulder. Keep drawing the left tricep and inner thigh toward one another. Once you've effectuated that, go ahead and take your left hand to the inside of that left hand foot and lift your chest. Try to square at your hips. So remember, it's the entire pelvic complex forward. You can think of that diagonal line that your left thigh created as an alignment guide for your torso. Even weight in both sides. Again, if like me, you're feeling any hamstring tension, that's usually an indicator that the knee is having those muscles on the sides of the knee are pulling a little bit. You can lift your toes up to alleviate some of that pressure. Breathe. When you're ready, you can go ahead and come down onto your forearms, elbows, if that's available to you on this side. I'm just checking the time. We're in that pose about 2 minutes or so on the other side. You can always step your left foot out a little bit to the left. Draw the shoulders back, lengthen your spine, connect to your breath. So we're taking slow, deep, steady breaths. And if you notice a tendency to try to push into the hardest version of the pose, and try to go into where your body feels better, not necessarily where the mind feels like the body's doing something, but where the body feels like, okay, I can sustain this, I can be present here, and I can benefit. Breathe. Keep drawing the shoulders back, chest forward. About another minute or so. Again, if you need to back out and go into your palms, you can. If you need to use a yoga block underneath your forearms, elbows, you can. Try to keep your mind focused on breathing. Remember, you can move your hips around, so sometimes that helps. I know when I reach about the minute mark, moving around kind of helps me release tension and also focus a little bit more. Roughly another 30 or so seconds here. And then we'll start to go into that side bend space. Notice what's going on in your left knee. Is it tracking a lot to the left? Can you keep hugging it in? All right, guys, here we go. We're going to exhale, walk the upper body to the right. Maybe look over that right shoulder, check out that that ankle isn't sickling. Keep fanning your left rib cage out. Breathe. Draw the shoulders back, connect to your breath. It's going to be about a minute. Inhaling and exhaling, releasing tension. About another 15 seconds or so. Slow, deep, steady breaths. All right, we're going to slowly inhale, return the spine to center. As you're ready, exhale, wrists underneath the shoulders, start to come on up. Tuck your right toes. Next exhalation, shift the hips back so the hips are directly over that right knee. Flex your left foot, and you may need to adjust your foot. So you want the second toe to line up with the hip point. Draw the shoulders back. At first, come to your highest point so you can find your balance, find the link to your spine. So we draw that left hip back, right hip forward, so that creates a little bit of traction where we can balance. Then you'll exhale, hinge from the hips, fold, and maybe walk your hands out. Draw the shoulders back, lengthen the spine, connect to your breath, keep flexing your left foot. And as we did before, if you want to go a little deeper into that left leg or the hamstring, take your hand to the ball of the left foot, draw the toes towards you, push your right hand into the mat like you're shoving the mat away. And that's going to give you a little more stretch there. Breathe. Just slow, deep, steady breaths. Keep drawing the left hip back. Find as much stability as you can in this pose. Again, remembering the balance is what makes this a little harder. About another 5 seconds or so. All right, so from here, we're going to go ahead, walk the left wrist underneath the left shoulder, right wrist underneath right shoulder. We're going to go ahead, exhale, bend that left knee, and then bring the left knee back underneath the left hip. So we're once again going to come to all fours. I'm actually going to drop down to my elbows, forearms, and bring my palms together and just rock my hips. I'm going to take some tension off my wrists. Just side to side with the hips. Good, then you're just going to point the toes for a moment. Let your belly drop. So let your tailbone go up, let your belly drop. I'm going to even draw my shoulders back and let my chest drop and my head drop. So this is more of kind of like a yin version of just taking a little bit of a cow with your upper body dropped. You can also see it starts to give you the shape of happy puppy a little bit. So that's where I think I'm going to take us next. So you can always stay here in this version, dropping the chest, lifting the tailbone up, drawing the hips back. We're trying to keep the hips over those knees. If you want to go a little deeper, feel free to tuck your toes. Inhale, look toward the front of your mat. Straighten your right arm out. Straighten your left arm out. You can bring your forehead to the earth. Draw the seat back and up. Keep the toes tucked, or those of you who are a little more mobile, drop your chest to the earth. Keep drawing the buttocks back. And if you can get your chin to the mat, go ahead and do that.
Other version is forehead to the mat, and you keep working happy puppy. If you're a little more flexible, you can probably get your chest down, keep drawing your shoulders back, chin goes down, and you're breathing. Give yourself space. Breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. Slow, deep, steady, rhythmic breaths. We're going to do about at least a minute. Keep letting the belly rise and fall. Drawing the shoulders back. Keep spiraling the triceps in. All right, now as you're ready, look at your hands, walk your arms in a little closer to one another. If your chest is to the earth, you're just gonna lift it up slightly, and we're all gonna inhale, slide forward into Sphinx pose, dropping the hip points, pointing the toes, letting your elbows come down to the mat, anchoring the hip points. So your elbows are underneath your shoulders. You're gazing straight ahead and trying to draw your skull bone back. Breathe. So if like me, you're having a little bit of a tight back day, back bend's not gonna look like the most amazing back bend. It's okay. Draw the shoulders back, elbows in, press evenly into both arms, press into the hip points, pull your belly button and so you feel your buttock muscles activate a little bit. Anchor the quads, tops of the feet. Slow, deep, steady breaths. We'll do about 3 more breaths here, then option to go up to Cobra if that seems like something you want to do. Try to really get your Sphinx pose down. Good, now those of you that wanna come up to Cobra, walk your fingertips back roughly in line with your chest and inhale, come up to whatever Cobra looks like for you today. So we're gonna hang out a little bit in Cobra. Draw the shoulders back, draw the skull bone back, open up the chest. So notice what's going on with your body. So my low back is feeling a little bit off. I feel like I'm dropping my hips too much. So I'm gonna pull my belly in. If you feel like your hips are really drawing too far back, see if you can let the hips drop a little bit and open up. Draw the shoulders back. That may mean you bend your elbows a little bit and go into that hip connection, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this out of my triceps and bring it into my hips by dropping my hips. So that's gonna go a little more low belly work, but it's also gonna open up the back body a little bit. Another couple of breaths. You're in Sphinx, Cobra of choice. Breathe. Another breath, stay with me. Then we're gonna go decidedly a little bit less gentle. Go ahead, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Take your time. Own that space we created. Sending that seat back and up, chest toward the thighs, collarbones broaden, maybe walk the dog a little bit. So now we're approaching dog, you know, kind of like a restful peak. So we're not gonna do anything much bigger than dog, no more efforting. Just wanted us to take a last little moment here to stretch in this kind of prone shape. And so I'm slowly walking the dog. I'm taking my time. I'm exaggerating, dropping my heels. Good. Now the next time that you complete your walk dog, just go ahead to full down dog, pushing the hands forward as you send your seat back and up and sink your heels. Really connect to your breath. Your hands shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart. Another breath or two here, relaxing tension. Good. Now we're going to inhale, lift up onto the balls of the feet. Exhale, bend the knees, bringing the knees to the earth. Cross your ankles behind you. Roll over the crossed ankles. Ooh, and we're going to come to a seat. So I'd like you to have a yoga block with you toward the back of your mat and a strap, or if you don't have a strap, a belt, anything that you can use for a belt. If you don't have either, it's fine. Can you just use your hands? You'll walk your heels in towards you. You're going to sit up tall and find your sits bone. So can you root the right one down? Can you root the left one down? Wrap your arms around your shins and inhale, grow tall. Let me see what I'm doing on time. Okay. Keep rooting the seat, lifting your chest. So earlier today, right, when we traction twisted, we brought the legs up. So I want us to go revisit that. So we're going to widen our legs now, maybe hip width apart, maybe a little wider. So I'm going external hip or wider. This time, the right hand goes to the outside of the right foot. So you're digging the heel in, lifting the toes up. Then the left hand is going to go to the outside of the left foot. Sit up tall. So you may have noticed my low back went right into that rounding and compression. So that's telling me I need to widen my legs a little more because my back's feeling tight. So now I'm going to lift the right leg up, pulling the knee toward my underarm. I'm going to find my sits bones, rock back a little bit behind them, find my left knee up, sit up nice and tall. So start off in your seated upright happy baby, lifting your chest, drive your heels away from you, draw the shoulders back and try to get those legs. So notice how I'm here in the front. I want you to try to get the legs to hug your rib cage. Lift your chest, keep puffing the chest forward, find your balance. So you should feel a little bit of belly work here. Relax your jaws. Maybe drop your chin towards your chest. Try to avoid tucking the tailbone under or tilting it back. So when you drop your chin, you're going to notice your pelvis does a lot of funny things. Try to keep the pelvis as is. So what I'd like us to do is mindfully and carefully make sure you got a clear space behind you. You're going to end up rolling on your back as you next exhale. Take your happy baby on your back. We're going to go ahead and start to rock a little bit left and right, releasing tension here. Have a little fun with it. Keep lengthening your tailbone. Keep drawing the shoulders back and down, drawing the knees toward the underarms. Good. Now we'll return to center. What I'd like you to do is keep your left leg in happy baby. Take your right leg out to the right in half a split. So your left leg is in happy baby, right foot is out to the right in half a split. Keep letting your left sits bone, left shoulder root down, flexing your right foot. Connect to your breath. Lengthen your left buttock away. Breathe. Another breath. Good. Now we're going to bend that right knee, bringing the right knee toward the right underarm. Let yourself go back to center. Now let's try on the other side. Exhale, straighten that left leg out to the left. Keep the right knee in happy baby. Try to keep weight in the right shoulder. Flex your left foot. Try to stretch out the hamstring. Finding balance or stability in the instability. Sorry, my left hamstring is super tight today. So just need to kind of make noises, makes it feel like it's releasing. And then we're going to come back to full happy baby. Now this time I'd like you to take your hands to the inside of the thighs, calves, arches, and open your legs out to a full split. And just see where your body is today. Flex your feet, drawing the heels away from you, toes towards you. Maybe you rock a little bit left and right. Slow, deep, steady breaths. Keep reaching through the heels. Keep lengthening your spine. Connect to your breath. Good. Now we're going to assist those inner thighs together. Exhale, bend the knees to tabletop, knees over the hips, heels slightly higher than the knees. Cross this time your left ankle over your right quad. Stay here for a moment in figure four. Place your hands on your belly. So we've got the right heel reaching away from us. I want you to try to track that right knee in line with the right hip point. The left IT band should be receiving a little bit of a stretch. Left piriformis, you're flexing your left butt. And because I'm a big proponent that we all try to do as much core work as we can, let's go ahead, exhale, curl the upper body up. Think of it as approaching it gently. We're not forcing ourselves into the shape. We're curling up into the shape. Reach your arms by your hips. Now start to extend your right leg out and take a floating figure four here. Curl up a little higher, flexing your feet. So think of the right heel stepping into the wall in front of you, the left heel stepping into the wall to the right. I'm looking down at my hips and making sure the hip points are even. If they're not, I'm adjusting. Usually you'll need to adjust your weight right. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, bring the right knee over that right hip. Figure 4, exhale, release the spine.
Now we're going to inhale, draw that right thigh in toward us. Exhale the left hand in the triangle we created by crossing the legs, wrapping your arms around your right hamstring or shin. Flex your feet, lengthen your left buttock away, and rock left and right. This is going to help release tension in that IT band, piriformis. Try to avoid taking a lot of tension in the shoulders. Sometimes we over pull with our hands. So the way to counterbalance that is to keep lengthening your tailbone away so the shoulders aren't going to do as much work pulling. All right. A very easy stretch for some of us. It's a big stretch. For some of us, it's not. I tend to be not a big stretch in this one, but I like it anyway. So we're going to go ahead, open the arms out to T, keep your legs as is. I'm actually drawing my right heel toward my right buttock. You're going to take your left hand, your fingertip to the top of the left knee and tip yourself over to the right, keeping your figure four. So your figure four goes to the right. You're going to keep your left shoulder down, take your right hand to your left mid thigh and press away. So right hand to your left inner thigh, press away. Yeah, perfect, Jody. And maybe turn your head to the left. So this one, some people feel it a lot in their left gluteal, left IT band. For me, it's pretty quiet. Maybe I'm sensing a little bit into my left buttock. So some people love this stretch and feel it as a big stretch. Some people love the stretch just because it's rest, right? Have a moment or two to just hang out. Keep breathing. Think of lengthening the left side of the body. Almost done. Now we're going to go ahead, open the right arm out to T. Inhale. As you exhale, roll onto your back, bring your legs up off the ground into that figure four. Then exhale, bring sole of the right foot down. Inhale, extend your left leg up toward the ceiling, flex your foot, left ankle over that left hip. And then the next exhale, you're just going to lower the left leg down. Give it a moment. See what's going on with the body. Okay, now we're going to bend the left knee, left sole of the foot to the mat. Breathe. Lengthen your spine. Find neutral. Now bring your legs to tabletop, knees over the hips, heels slightly higher than the knees. Your mid to low belly, you're going to kick in. Cross the right ankle over the left quad. Take your figure four here. Place your hands on your belly for a moment. Lengthen your spine. Just simply connect to your breath. We're not trying to do anything yet. We're trying to just find alignment and breathe. Keep tracking that left knee in line with the left hip point. We're going to exhale, float the upper body up. Remember, it's like an effortless floating up. It's not this attempt to go as high up as we can. You're going to keep lengthening that right buttock away. Then you're going to drive that left heel away and let your figure four float here. Try to check the hip points. You may need to adjust a little bit, maybe to the left, maybe to the right. Keep breathing steadily. You might shake a little bit. Keep trying to track that right knee out. Good. Now we're going to keep the curl. Inhale, bring that left knee into the figure four shape. Exhale, release your spine. Inhale, draw that left thigh a little closer toward you. As you exhale, right hand in the triangle you created by crossing your legs. Wrap your arm around the left hamstring or shin, and then start to rock left and right. Just try to start to prep that IT band, the piriformis, releasing tension. Slow, deep, steady breath. All right. So now we're going to exhale, open those arms out to T, relax the shoulders. And take your right pointer finger to the top of that right knee and exhale, tip yourself over to your left. Keep your figure four, just take it left. Right shoulder down, lengthen your right buttock away. Take your left hand into that right inner thigh and press away as you look over your right shoulder. So it may feel different. For me on this side today, I actually feel stretch. It actually feels quite good to lengthen the buttock away and find this gentle yet effective stretch. Remember, press into the inner thigh. I go for just slightly away from my right hip, but certainly very distal from my right knee. I don't want to go anywhere near my right knee. So I don't put any pressure there. Connect to your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your belly and notice if there's tension anywhere. So for me, left shoulder is tensing. Left hand and arm are shaking. Good, now we're going to open the left arm out to T. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, to bring the legs back to that tabletop figure four. Then exhale, release the left sole of the foot down. Inhale, the right leg rises. Take a moment, feel that hamstring stretch, flex the foot. Then exhale, let that right leg lower down. Notice whatever you notice. So for me, a little bit of unsteadiness in the pelvis, a little bit of tension left shoulder. So I just share it with you so you know it's normal. Everybody's body's feeling something. Right sole of the foot to the mat. So we're going to go ahead and set ourselves up for a nice bridge here at the end. So we're going to grab our yoga block. And I have a cork block, so I might endeavor to go up to the highest point of my block. If you have a wooden or cork block, it's safe to do that. If you have the other kind of mushy blocks, I wouldn't try. So you're either going to go flat, vertical here, or sorry, horizontal, or vertical to the highest point if you have a harder block. Bend your elbows, hold the block in one hand. You're walking your heels in toward your buttocks, knees in line with the hips. We're going to inhale, tilt the tailbone up, hug your inner elbows in. Exhale, drive the seat away from you as you lift your hips up, lift your low back up. So we're in a bridge. You're going to take the block, place it underneath your sacrum, the flat shelf at the base of the spine, just beneath the lumbar curve, just above the gluteal curve. So I'm starting off horizontally on the second level. I'm just going to give my back a moment. I'm going to tuck my shoulders underneath me a little bit and then release my arms down on the mat, palms down. To make sure that I have, excuse me, my sacrum situated on my block. So what I'm going to do is take my hands, the heels of my palms, onto my hip points, my fingertips aim up. So I can see my middle fingers aiming straight up, so I know I'm aligned right. If my middle fingers were to aim toward my knees or away from me, I know the block is too high up, too high up my low back. If they were to aim toward me, I know my block is too far down toward the buttocks, so I would want to adjust. So now we're going to take a moment, keep the left foot where it is. So when we did figure four, I led with the left. Let's lead with the right now. We're going to inhale, bring the right knee in toward the chest, no hands. Just let the leg be there. Let the thigh bone plug into the hip socket, keeping my knee bent for a little bit just to lengthen my right buttock away. Now I'm going to inhale, extend my right leg up. And try to line my right ankle over my hip. And either you can grab your strap and place your strap right? If you can't reach the ball of the right foot, which many people can't here, another trick is to wrap the strap around your lower calf and use your strap there to help you stretch. Or you just hold on to your hamstring. So I'm going to hold on to my hamstring calf with my hands and breathe. If you have access to your big toe without lifting your shoulders, you can do that. Usually that means you have really long arms or really short leg or a combination thereof, maybe both. Now, keeping your stretch on your right side, maybe straighten out your left leg and let it drop on the mat. Breathe. Relax your right shoulder, finding your stretch. Avoid locking out that right knee. So what I'll do sometimes if I think I'm locking my right knee out, is I take my left pointer finger here, tuck it into the back of my right knee and give it a little bit of a micro bend. Keep plugging your right thigh bone into the hip socket. So we want to stretch. When we get into the hamstring again, left hip flexor, right hand, what is this muscle? Right calf, right Achilles. A few more breaths, slow, deep, steady breaths. Relax your face, relax your shoulders, find your breath. Good. Now we're going to carefully exhale, bend the right knee. Inhale, slide the left sole of the foot to the mat. Exhale, bring the right foot down. So you're in that supported bridge once again. Adjust your block if you need to. Mine kind of shift it around. Draw the shoulders back and underneath you. Keep your strap with you or not, depending on if you wanted to use it. Remember, if you can't catch your foot, you catch the back of the left calf. We're going to inhale, bring the left knee into the chest. Just let that thigh bone plug into the hip socket. Then you're going to drive the left heel away from you. Feel the hamstring. You can wrap the strap around the foot or calf or hold on to your left hamstring, calf, big toe if you can reach it. Lengthen your left buttock away, shoulders are down on the mat. Soften the left knee and then maybe straighten out your right leg onto the ground. Breathe. Plug that left shoulder in. Feel whatever it is you're feeling. Just be present there. Let the hamstring stretch. Let the left calf stretch. Let the right hip flexor stretch. Slow, deep, steady breaths, guys. So we're going to slowly start to deconstruct the pose in about 5 seconds or so. Remember to soften that left knee. Good. Now we're going to exhale, bend the left knee. Inhale, bring the right sole of the foot to the mat. Then exhale, bring the left foot down. So you can adjust your block to make sure it's on your sacrum. You can set your strap aside. Or those of you who have a harder block and want to go up one level, you can go ahead and lift your hips up, maybe taking the block on your sacrum or placing your sacrum on the block with the highest level. You're going to reach your hands towards your heels. Draw the shoulders back and underneath you. Please keep your head on straight and take a supported bridge here for a moment. Make sure your hips are really level. Connect to your breath. Now slowly straighten out the right leg. See how this feels. And then maybe straighten out the left leg. Keep tucking your shoulders underneath you, relaxing the arms, connecting to your breath. Those of you who'd like to can always interlace your fingers. So I have my arms extended beyond my block and fingers interlaced. So you can get a little bit of a stretch here in the chest and shoulders as well. Remember, you can flex your feet if your back's feeling really tight, or you can try pointing. I like to try both, see which one my back can bear. Pointing's a little harder for me, but if my back's feeling okay, I'll let my feet relax and go into pointing. Slow, deep, steady breaths, and at any point you want to adjust your block, you can. Remember to ease out if you need to. You can bend your knees or lower your block. I'd like us to be in this shape for another minute or so. Relaxing your shoulders, chest, buttocks, hips, legs. Slowly breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. All right, so let's go ahead and inhale, bring the soles of the feet to the mat and just take a moment there. Let your hips relax. Deep in breath, complete out breath. As you exhale, pull your belly button in, let the soles of your feet connect and your knees drop out into an elevated, right? So we're in a supported reclined cobbler's pose. So letting the inner thighs stretch a little bit. I'm actually gonna rock my hips left and right a little bit because that feels good. Keep the shoulders nice and steady. You can even place your hands on your hip points, and as you rock right, press that right hip point down a little. As you rock left, press the left hip point down. Just gives you a little more release in the upper inner thighs near the groin. Good, then when you're ready, just let your hips go still. Maybe tuck the shoulders underneath you a little bit, and about 30 seconds. Just breathing here. Good. Now we're going to exhale, pull the abdominals in, bring the soles of the feet to the ground and go hip width there. And you're going to inhale, tilt your tailbone up. Exhale, take a moment, squeeze your buttocks, just lift your hips up high enough to remove the block. Keep the hips lifted, remove the block and set it aside. Now we're going to go ahead, place the hands on the earth a little bit wider than hip width apart and just rock your hips left and right. Just sway them in the breeze. Then start to add lowering as you sway the hips. So eventually you come onto the ground. Find your neutral spine. Carefully inhale, bring the right knee into the chest. Take your time. If your back is a little bit sensitive like mine, I can't move very quickly into this shape. And then bring the left knee in. Wrap your arms around your hamstrings or shins. Lengthen your buttocks away. Now exhale, curl your upper body up, nose toward to or between the knees. If you can get your nose between your knees, catch your feet, drawing those knees toward your ears. Breathe. Now let's exhale, roll on up to a cross-legged seat. Take your time. Root your sits bones. Lengthen your spine. So what I like to do, for my back, it works. And if it doesn't for yours, you don't have to do it. I go up on my fingertips and then press down. Keep my seat rooted, but act like I'm trying to lift my butt up and just go side to side. And that helps me capture a little bit of the length to my low back. Sometimes my lower back discs compress. Then once I'm there, I'll bring my buttocks a little more fully down, keep pressing into the fingertips, lift my spine, and then place my hands on my lap. So I find it helps me keep as much of the space between the lower back vertebrae as I can. Let's take a few moments. So today's Thanksgiving, 2020, a little bit different this year. We might not be spending a lot of time with a lot of people or socializing like we usually do. Just take a few moments to settle in and be okay with that. Next year, things will be different. Let's go ahead and bring the palms together in prayer. Bow the chin toward the chest. And let's take a moment to practice gratitude. I'm grateful for whatever you can think of and whomever you can think of. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for practicing with me, for your friendship, for your support, etc. Om Shanti, Om peace to you. Namaste.